Hello and welcome to The German Guy Reviews. I first didn't want to do this, but this movie is a special kind of shitty that just can't be ignored. I really don't know what it is. Maybe it's the setting or the characters, but never again was another Hooligan movie this bad. I guess this is just a form of mental research, and sadly I have to report that I still don't know why I hate this movie so much. My theory why this movie forever stuck with me in my mind is that it's so surprising, so odd that the first movie was so good and then went so bad so quick. This film was less needed and wanted than a selfie stick. It's the kind of movie that went straight to DVD, to which no one of the original cast returned to, except one. You know, all the signs of a cinematic apocalypse. The first thing that already infuriates me is how it looks. It's like someone stole the camera from the show Smallville and dropped it a few times. One more piece of evidence that no one really wanted this film. We open up in an American prison. Or, sure, it's supposed to be an English prison, but seriously movie, you can make Vancouver look like any kind of American city, but you cannot trick me into believing that this is not a basketball field. We see the two hooligan groups from the last story, the West Ham firm and the FC Millwall, who were imprisoned because of the fight at the end of the last movie. And they're about to do what hooligans can do best, punching each other until you can wear your teeth as a necklace. One of the West Ham members named Keith, played by Michael Enright, an actor who, fun fact, became a member of the Kurdish army to fight ISIS in 2013, asked our main character, who goes only by the name Dave, if this really is such a good idea, because this will inevitably result in them getting a greater punishment, and he really didn't plan on spending his entire life here.
Wir haben keine Wahl.
Yes, you do. You absolutely totally do, you fucking moron. And if you have to demand to be moved to another prison so you don't have to fight anymore. This is just one of those bullcrappy excuses that you fart out to make this entire ridiculous behavior sound rational, like that guy from the last movie. It's like Patrick Star coming up with some pseudo-philosophical explanation of why he does stupid things. Just admit that you have unbalanced hormone levels and move on. The most unexpected amazing miracle happens. Our schoolboys indeed are being ordered to the warden, who explains that this is unacceptable behavior. Oh yeah, remember how I just said that Dave should just demand that he and the other ham should be moved to another prison? Well, apparently he did. 3 times even. But it was always denied. With no explanation given. I guess the advice of the warden is, can you not just hug it out? I don't know who I find more irresponsible here. The West Hams for risking to lose their freedom for a couple more years and not see their families again because of some silly tribal conflict, or this warden, who should have over 40 years experience and know that gangs continue to fight each other even in prison. But like any good manager of any institution, he now undertakes measures against this problem. Long after the disaster has been going on for way too long. People could have died, you idiot. So our characters make themselves comfy in their new home, and we meet bitchy prison guard, who makes immediately clear who has the biggest balls in this place. Later our heroes discover that in this place too there will be no peace between Israel and Palestine, and the Millwall members announce that this will be hell on earth for them. So the warden did switch them over to another prison, but he did not check if they are safe there. Wow. I mean, wow. Most asshole douchebag dick move ever. Anyway, Dave makes clear that he has no intention of fighting and rather just wants to take it easy until he gets free, but our villain, Big Mark, has none of that and provokes them with the fact that they have killed Pete from the first movie. Yes, people, this is one of those damn movies that kill off a bunch of good characters from the previous one as a side note. We then switch over to the guys making friends with a Soviet-Russian dude named Max who got his fingers a little bit in everything.
I understand you're a man that knows how to get things.
And when I say everything, I mean everything. It's the reason why he's here. Then we watch Big Mark acting psycho and how he runs the drug business inside the prison. And then they start a fight inside a church. Which is completely pointless, like most of the fights in this movie. It doesn't even feel like part of the plot, but a distraction from it. And this happens a lot. The scene with Big Mark getting completely upset is a perfect example of this. It comes out of nowhere and disappears just as quick. And you are left wondering what the point was. There is so much pointless beating in this movie that I think that when I just watch an actual football stadium riot, I will get more plot. Dave gets a visit from his girlfriend who tells him about her day. And she tells him she has shaved herself. What is it with these movies and shaving your private parts and telling me about it? Also, good call on that. That will help him a lot in prison. We then see Lady Officer Iron Dick being involved in the drug trade with the Millvale gangsters. Then Keith gets put in solitary confinement after Big Mark starts a food fight. And then he tries to murder him while Keith explains to the audience the violent history of football and that the term hooligan comes from an Irish mispronunciation. Huh? The more you know. After the murder attempt fails, we leave this pointlessness, but not before one of the good cops starts to get suspicious about Officer Elephant Ball's behavior. Oh, und then we got over 15 minutes worth of scenes which are completely pointless about how the prison population gets over 30 more inmates and is now overcrowded, with some dialogue that I presume is supposed to pass as social commentary, and then Keith gets out of solitary confinement, and thank God, then the plot starts to move its bottom again. One of Dave's closest friends, who I didn't realize up until this point was even there with them this whole time, gets beaten and cut in his face. And so Dave decides to fight back and seeks the help of Max to execute a revenge plan. As they start to fist massage Big Mike's goons, another subplot unravels. About Big Mike and the Iron Lady, as she is called, searching for a missing bag of drugs. But that has to wait as the movie starts to lose focus again and shows us the Iron Lady and then Big Mike beating our main characters as payment for their recent activities. Oh god, blood! Blood! So much blood!
Bitte sehr.
Und wer ist jetzt der Dumme?
You are! All of you! What happens next is the most stupid thing that has ever happened on this earth. Because the prison is about to get a lot more inmates the following next week, so they are forced to release prisoners earlier. But that still isn't enough to compensate. So the warden asks Officer Man-Woman to make a list with inmates that can be released without posing an immediate threat to society. She does so, but on her list are attempted rapists, murderers, and so on. If you squint your eyes just right, they become the perfect candidates. Of course, Big Mike and his henchmen are on the list as well, but the good cop has prepared an alternative list for the warden to consider with our heroes on it. The warden, unable to make a choice, decides to... I can't even... He does... I can't... It's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, but I can't physically say it. Because I'm afraid if I do, my head will explode from all the stupidity. Thankfully, we have technology.
He is hosting a football match.
If this was anything like reality, the warden would make a call to anyone above him in the justice system and ask for advice. Or if that wasn't the case, then he would give both parties a time limit for the, let's say, next 5 days, saying the one that behaves the best gets released. Or he would throw a fucking coin. And this still doesn't help the fact that the warden appears to be thinking, hey, this sounds incredibly illegal, let's do it. Second, I didn't look into the list that the good cop gave you, but I'm pretty sure it sounds way better than murderers and rapists. You know, just from a practical standpoint. Also, does this warden have nothing else to do than watch football matches during his working hours? And surprise, surprise, the other ball that he gets rolling is that the prisoners are now doing everything to win, including our Big Mike holding Dave's girlfriend hostage and threatening to do horrible things to her. Wow, it's almost like as if these things need to be thought through or something. And it gets even better. According to the movie, football matches in which the prisoners can win something are a regular occurrence in this prison. Are you kidding me? So this hugely, immensely underfunded prison that needs to release prisoners early takes extra resources to start a competition every week and gives prizes? How, in any realm of existence, is this helpful? If you don't have enough guards to secure peace and order, all it does is pin the prisoners against each other. Yes, I'm aware of the term divide and conquer, but if it's something like this, you are risking lives, damn it. I mean, what kind of murderer rapist would have any moral problems to break the legs of the best player of the other team or kill him right there for better TV? Anyway, we get a little montage of training, because Lord knows we didn't have enough filler in this film. And after Big Mark reveals his threat to Dave, Dave runs to Max and begs him to use his connections to save his wife on the outside. The match begins with Mark's boys rather wanting to play wrestling than football, and the judges all letting this go by without even a single warning. Lady Justice is indeed a two-faced bitch. Meanwhile, at Dave's girlfriend home, Mark's goon doesn't give a crap about his orders and starts to slowly undress and attempt to rape her. But he gets interrupted by a couple of dozen men about to give him a well-deserved beating. Max nods at Dave, giving him the certainty that his wife is going to be okay. What then follows is an outright war on the playing field, with David and his buddies becoming victorious. And now with all the broken bones, we don't have to release so many inmates. Best warden in the world strikes again. After that, we get some closure with Big Mark and the Iron Lady being arrested for drug trade thanks to the good cop. The movie ends with everybody having a big party at Dave's house. Woo! Big fight with Liverpool fans this weekend. Violence solved our problems. We learned absolutely nothing. The fighting is uninteresting, the plot stinks like a garbage can in the anus of a skunk, and it was genuinely boring. Why does it always have to be so boring? Thankfully, it was all over after just 1.5 hours, which most of it was filler anyway. $1 million went into the production of this thing, and the only thing I can say is that even that sounds like way more than it actually needed to be. $1 million, which could have been spent on so many better things, like cancer research, or feeding the hungry, or toilet paper. I still can't believe that it was really $1 million. I mean, nothing in this movie gets even destroyed. It's just a lot of fake blood and dirty sheets. I don't see where all that money went. Well, on the other hand, I wasn't part of the production, and I can't imagine how much it costs to rent an entire prison for 3 or 4 days. And I don't want to accuse the movie makers of stealing or anything. But I am going to say that it is a shitty, cheap-looking, bad movie that no one should ever watch, except if he or she suffers from sleep deprivation. My advice to you is, if you want to watch a really good sports movie, stay with cool runnings. The German guy out and auf Wiedersehen.